The sweet sound of race cars at the Talladega Superspeedway. There is no music like it, and today the Turn Down for What Xfinity Series will take 89 laps of action at the 2.67-mile Talladega Superspeedway. Adam Taylor and Josh Arnold have control of the field at the front. Bama Trama in the chat says, "Hey Rick, hey race fans, Mama Vols, glad to have you here. Love you, ma'am. Send my love back to the family." And welcome one and all who have tuned in. Even our pets that have decided to tune in for an exciting night of Xfinity Series racing. Those are the points coming into tonight's event. Nate Lehman has a commanding lead coming into this race. Round number 12, Nate Lehman with 418 points to Chris Murphy's 367. You see your starting lineup on the left-hand side of your screen. That tower is going to give us all the information we need for these 237 miles in Lincoln, Alabama. Bama Trama says, "Dega is my favorite track." Well, how about this, Mama Vols? How about this for your favorite racetrack? 89 laps in the Turn Down for What Xfinity Series. Pace car peels off with Adam Taylor at the front, Josh Arnold to his side. Nassau, Bahamas, Elrich George starting third to the inside of Chris Murphy. And in your third row, it's Byron Jones to the inside, Kyle Taub on the outside. Adam Taylor waits for that green flag to wave him through. Let's go racing!
Green, green, green.
At the line, it's McGee, Mississippi's Josh Arnold who leads lap number 1. Chris Murphy sits in second on the outside in that 2-1 Supra. Right behind him, the 7-1 of Mike Papa Bear Campbell. Elrich George in the 40 on the inside line with Enrique Quiñones to his outside. All of these cars still trying to get settled. The 2-4 of Colt Snyder on the inside of the 1-6 of Kyle Taub, channeling his inner Davey Allison, looking for his route to victory lane, but patience will be key, especially from some drivers looking to cut to the inside early on. It is one of the longest races of the season, and it's anybody's game up until that final lap. Chris Murphy to the inside, but it's going to be Papa Bear Campbell who leads lap number 2. This is a race that Papa Bear truly could win. Mike Campbell looking to just make his way through the points, have as much fun as he can. He's sitting 14th in the running order right now. He's had a consistent season of finishes, consistent starts and finishes, and that's what's kept him in this top 15, leading the field right now, and everybody back in Randleman cheering on the Tiger Town Trucking Ford, but Enrique Quiñones has other plans. He gets himself stuck in the middle. On the outside, Joshua Franks, who's got our current fastest lap of 51.93 seconds, has no support. Papa Bear Campbell survives, and he sticks and will lead yet another lap. The 6 of Josh Arnold well on the outside, watching Enrique Quiñones come up the middle, and now the 9 of Quiñones leads the top side. The 2-1 of Chris Murphy possibly looking for some draft on the top side. And the 4-8 of Corey Blevins put in a fastest lap of 41.69 seconds. Blevins now has the fastest lap of the race. He's gone purple. Your points leader, Nate Lehman, leading this race today by an enormous margin. If my math is right, which it isn't, it looks like it's a 41-point lead ahead of Chris Murphy, who's sitting in the top 3 right now. 41 points, an amazing lead right now for Nate Lehman. But if there's one race where it could all come crashing down, it's this one here. He's playing it patient. He's staying at the back of the field, making sure nothing endangers that points lead. He's just riding around. Papa Bear Campbell still leads while Enrique Quinones is on that top side. He's got a mirror full of John Osborne in the 8-1. Osborne, he's another driver. A long shot if you were to look at the points table, but again, anybody can win this race today. It's about survival in these final laps. Coming into this 12th round, John Osborne sits ahead of Papa Bear Campbell by 28 points in the 13th position. He's drafting well with the Chevrolet in front and behind. The laps just keep getting quicker. 51.51 seconds. Jarrett Manning just went purple. He turned the fastest lap of the race so far. But as the speeds get higher, what's going to give first? The patience or the numbers? We'll see if we keep seeing purple laps on the scoreboard. But for now, these drivers just get quicker. Quinones on the high side can't quite pull the move off. He's going to need a lot more help than that. Early on, it looks like that low line is just strong in the early running of this race. Strong enough to hold off a tight draft from the top side. Colt Snyder in that 2-4 had to jump to the outside. The billion-dollar Pepsi Chevrolet jumping into that third lane. But the Pennsylvania driver thinking better of it. He's going to keep his position for now. Shout out to the folks in Hazleton, Pennsylvania cheering on. Colt Snyder looking to the high side. Braking formation with the top line. Urging somebody to go with him. Snyder possibly a bit impatient in the early runnings, but how about John Osborne starting stone dead last in 17th? He's up to the lead in that 8-1. He gets around the 7-1 of Papa Bear Campbell, but will he hold on to the lead? Campbell goes to the outside. North Carolinian on North Carolinian. Almost some contact through that tri-oval. Drag race to the line, and Papa Bear Campbell leads lap number 7. Campbell, Quinones, Osborne. Look at the dive that Campbell makes right in front of the 8-1. Quinones, top side. John Osborne being scored second, but these change just by every inch depending on who's got the draft, who's got the push. And if you've recently just tuned in, you have not missed a thing. I'm Rick James. You're watching di9 Designs. Turned down for what? Xfinity Series from the Talladega Superspeedway. John Osborne in that 8-1 getting a bit squirrely out of turn number 4. These drivers look tense. They just look just a bit erratic through that tri-oval, and all it takes is one wrong move at the wrong time. Corey Blevins to the inside. That was the right move, but possibly cutting off all his momentum. Blevins shoots to the lead, but will he hold onto it? Meanwhile, new fastest lap with a 51.19 second circuit. Nate Lehman has gone purple. So 51.19, now the time to beat. Meanwhile, at the front, Enrique Quinones on the outside of Corey Blevins. Let's have one more look at that move Corey Blevins put into the lead. Just brave stuff. there's the move right there. Let's back it up just a bit and watch this. I'm not sure if contact was involved, but have a close look. Oh, possible contact. The 48 just looked like a bit tense when he made that move, but luckily everyone makes it through okay. Quiñones still at the front just by half a car length. Pennsylvania's Colt Snyder just behind him in that 2-4, and the bump drafting has taken full effect. One car onto the apron. It's the 4-8 of Corey Blevins. No one crashes. We stay green, but this is going to make for a huge break in the draft order. Corey Blevins, he looked tense a couple laps before, and now he's got big damage to the back end of that Hasib Design Camaro. And the 4-8 slowed down the back straight, being overtaken on the top side. He's got no drafting partners. Problems for the 4-8 of Corey Blevins. Enrique Quiñones has the lead, and there you can see the clear gap between the top 5 drivers and the rest of the field. Josh Arnold, no draft help for him to suck up to this top 5, and it looks like the 5 of Adam Taylor is going to grab onto the draft from the 2-2, and there's the break from 6th on back. One draft group. From 5th on forward, another draft group. But here is the crucial strategy. These front 5 cars must go single file. They cannot squabble amongst themselves, or they will invite that second group right onto their bumpers. Quiñones leading by just 1/10 of a second, but it's 1.5 seconds between the 7-1 of Papa Bear Campbell and the 2-2 of Josh Arnold. Arnold's been caught up by the 5 of Adam Taylor, but do they have enough momentum to catch this lead draft group here? Enrique Quiñones in the 9 leads this race. Colt Snyder sits in 2nd, and Jarrett Manning sitting in that 3rd position. Wonder what would happen if we put the 7 of Manning in that Duke Chevrolet and the 8-1 of Osborne in that UNC Ford nose to tail. Talk about some fireworks there. But plenty of race to see that fight for now. It looks like it's top 5 versus the rest, but Josh Arnold has caught the draft of car 7-1 Mike Campbell and will be reunited, and it will feel so good to get these race cars back in one big clump. 14 laps underway from the Talladega Superspeedway, and another fastest lap. It was Chris Murphy momentarily, but then it's gone to Bahamas' Elrich George. Yeah, that's right, Bahamas from Nassau. Elrich George in the number 40 Dollar General Listerine Toyota Supra sits behind Jeff Lednam. He rounds out the top dozen, and he's gone purple for today's race. 50.56 seconds for the Bahamian. Corey Blevins jumps to the pits. We still haven't seen what happened to that 4-8. Let's see if we can go back and find out what went on that sent that 48 onto the apron. There's the 8-1 of John Osborne right behind him. And contact from the 7-1. Look at that. And Osborne has to slam on those brakes, but it looks like it was a chain reaction. Contact from the 8-8 of Mike Allen. Then the 7-1 of Mike Campbell. Let's have a look here from the far chase cam if we can. And watch this. Oh, the 7-1 possibly washed up. The 8-8 might have washed down. And there you see the momentary split in these two drafting groups, but now the cars have been put back into one single file line. Enrique Quiñones leads the race in the 9, the 2-4 of Colt Snyder, and the 7 of Jared Manning make it an all Chevrolet podium for now. But here comes Mississippi's Josh Arnold as the 7-1 of Mike Campbell will respectfully back out of this racing line, and he's going to go to the back where Nate Lehman sits just ahead of Byron Jones in the 4 and Zach Meredith in the Dale Earnhardt-inspired 1-7. Meredith comes into this race not as far up in the points as he once was this season. Meredith sits 12th right now with 1 win to his name. 275 points puts him just 5 markers ahead of John Osborne in the Jumpman machine. Osborne diligently following Adam Taylor, who's run a part-time schedule but still doing well. Explorian says, no fast repairs tonight. Blevins showing as out. Corey Blevins is indeed being marked out of this race. But there goes Colt Snyder to the outside, looking for the move on Enrique Quiñones, using the draft and the momentum. Mike Allen now supporting that number 9 Michelob Ultra Chevrolet. The 7 of Manning going to get left out to dry as Colt Snyder gets around the number 9. Let's take one more look at that pass for the lead. Car 2-4, Colt Snyder, now leading the race at Talladega. Just timed that draft perfectly. Textbook move to the outside. Here comes Jarrett Manning in the 7, who also jumps. He's going to give the 24 a bit of a shove down that back straight, urge him just across the 9. But alas, the 2-4 of Colt Snyder doesn't wait for Jarrett Manning, and now the 7 Duke Chevrolet left like a towel in the hot Alabama sun with no draft help behind him. Snyder, Quiñones, Allen, your top 3. Jarrett Manning in that 4th position. Josh Arnold in 5th. Single file for the most part. But it's not easy. Let's see what the world looks like from the cockpit of car 37. Jeff Lednum in 11th place. Full throttle the whole way through. Colt Snyder continues to lead. Enrique Quiñones, Jarrett Manning has somehow stuck in the top 5 positions. The number 7 sits ahead of that 88. They're swapping positions there. Almost contact between the 88 and the 7. Here comes Josh Arnold in the 22, trying to sneak into the top 4, but Jarrett Manning will reclaim his place in that line. And the 7-1 of Mike Papa Bear Campbell does the same down the back straight. Chris Murphy sitting in 9th comes into this race 2nd in the point standings. Josh Franks is right behind him in the United for America Unilever Chevrolet. We were just on board with Jeff Lednum in 11th, and Elridge George, one of the fastest laps of the race tonight. Kyle Taub with a 50.56 now has the fastest lap tonight. Single file train Something that you'd see almost in the 90s, where you would have these long single file lines and drivers just waiting, just biding their time and seeing who they can draft with. You can see drivers just kind of looking to the high side, seeing who's available to make a little bit of noise. Cindy Thompson in the chat says, "Go Josh Arnold." In the 2-2, McGee, Mississippi driver in that Auburn Ford Mustang, coming up behind the number 7 of Jared Manning in the Duke Chevrolet. Got a few collegiate cars here. We mentioned Jared Manning, Josh Arnold, of course, and then the 8-1 of John Osborne. Our hardest charger so far, or one of at least, Jared Manning is our hardest charger. He's up 11 places. But special mention for John Osborne and Mike Allen, both up 10 places from where they started. 2-4-9-8-8, your top three in Lincoln, Alabama. But when will they break? The di9 Designs Track Facts predicts that these drivers will go between 30 and 40 laps on one tank of fuel. Possibly a little bit less if the drivers are trying to stretch the tires a far distance. We'll have a look here in just a few laps. Break in the draft, however. Adam Taylor in the 5, possibly just trying to get a good run on the 2-2 of Josh Arnold. The 8-1 of John Osborne. He's going to get a big sniff of the draft through turn 1 and 2. Will he dive high to make something of it? Arnold in the 8-1. He's got support from the 7-1 of Mike Allen behind him. But he will stay in line, as will Adam Taylor in the 5. "23 laps now complete. Colt Snyder in the 24 car has his New Jersey teammate just itching to get around that 2-4 Pepsi Chevrolet. But for how much longer will he be patient? Can he wait to the start of pit stop cycles? Looking now through this running order, the 2-4 of Colt Snyder comes into this race 7th in the point standings. 1 win to his name, looking to make it 2. But all eyes on points leader Nate Lehman, who is comfortably taking his time in the back of the field right now, catching up to Kyle Taub, trying to get just a whiff of the fumes coming out of those pipes. Taub in the 16 behind the 40 of Elridge George in the Dollar General Supra. Kyle Taub said earlier today, "Rick, you're going to love the paint scheme that I've got." And you've got to say, of the throwback paint schemes, obviously we got to mention Zach Meredith's Dale Earnhardt paint scheme. There you see it just in frame. There's the 16 Davey Allison inspired KT Designs Ford. The Floridian showing a little bit of love to one of the Alabama gang's finest. And of course, no introduction is needed for this very special 17 of Zach Meredith, bringing a little bit of Dale Earnhardt tribute onto the racetrack in his Good Wrench 1.7. Colt Snyder showing love for Jeff Gordon. He ran this Chevrolet Pepsi $1 billion paint scheme in one of those Pepsi 400s way back when. And so far, he's putting it to good use. The 9 of Quinones sits behind him and has done so patiently, as has Mike Allen. There's Adam Taylor in the 5. I don't know if he's looking to save fuel, what kind of interesting strategy he's going on, but Taylor is holding on to the largest gap in this single file drafting line. There's some strategy being played here by the Kentucky pilot, and we're going to see where it pays off in just a few laps when that pit window opens. 26 laps about to be completed at the Talladega Superspeedway. Papa Bear Campbell in that 7-1, drafting behind the 8-1 of John Osborne. Josh Franks. He's in that 6 car. Sugar Hands Franks, as he's known, sitting in the 10th position right now. The Georgian drafting behind second place in points, Chris Murphy. Two, 4, 9, double 8, your top 3 thus far. And if you recently tuned in, I'm Rick James. You're watching di9 Designs. Turned down for what from the virtual Talladega Superspeedway. Cindy Thompson in the chat cheering for Josh Arnold. Explorian reminding us no fast repairs tonight. And Bama Trama in the chat watching this iRacing series at her favorite track. Mike Allen running in 3rd. Having a decent season. Not filling in every single race, but Allen still holding strong, 23rd in the point standings right now. A few drivers up ahead, not present tonight, and here go the pits. Here starts the pit mess down here. The 9 of Quinones is in. Colt Snyder gets it woed up big time. Papa Bear Campbell is in. Only 3 cars decide to come down pit road, and just before those track facts predicted, cars coming down on lap 29. So Mike Allen, Jarrett Manning, and Josh Arnold will be coming in during that di9 Designs pit window, somewhere between these next 10 laps. Predict in the next 1 to 2 laps, perhaps. But that means it's a 2-stop race if it goes green all the way to the end. Mike Allen, your new leader in the double 8 High Rock Vodka Chevrolet. He's got Jarrett Manning behind him in the 7 Duke Blue Devils Camaro. Do they come in this time? Manning is in. Here comes the double 8 of Allen. Also, Adam Taylor is in. The 81 UNC Jumpman Ford of John Osborne comes down pit road. He's going to get that fixed. And then the 5 of Adam Taylor also comes down with his draft partners. So McGee, Mississippi's Josh Arnold becomes your new leader in the double 2. Josh Franks sits in that 2nd position, half a second behind, but he's got a big run coming on the 22. And Maryland's Jeff Lednam now sits 3rd. At the back of that line, the double 4 of Byron Jones in that repeat 1975 Ford Mustang. A little bit of Lightning McQueen sponsorship on that. Love to see it. So Jarrett Manning is out on pit road. Mike Allen, looks like Mike Allen's still in the pits. He's on his way out. Hopefully that wasn't too much damage or not a penalty that caused Mike Allen to have to stay late. But 1st through 9th, all elect to bring their race cars down pit road, and there's race leader Nate Lehman sitting just behind the 40 of Elrich George. If he wants to keep that big 41-point lead into this race, the pit stops have to be perfect. Josh Arnold leads the field on the way down pit road, but will he leave with the lead? There's Colt Snyder. He's sitting 10th with Enrique Quinones behind him, and this Camaro 2-car tandem is poised to get the top spot from Mississippi's Josh Arnold. He's just left pit road. Everybody makes their way out of pit road. There's Chris Murphy behind Josh Arnold. There goes the 2-4 of Colt Snyder and Enrique Quinones. New leaders once again, but now it's become a 200-mile-an-hour game of cat and mouse. While the 2-4 and the 9 are peeling away at extraordinary speeds, this 2-car tandem will be no match for Josh Arnold and his friends in this 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 car tandem. Not a tandem, it's 10 cars, is it? But this 10 car group that's going to be using their single file drafting partners to hunt down the 24 and the 9 respectively. 31 laps now complete. Colt Snyder has led the majority of those circuits at the 2.66 mile Talladega Superspeedway. Drivers do get 4 sets of tires in this 2-stop race. And if you've never been to Talladega Superspeedway or you've never seen it on Google Maps, you'll notice 2 big, what look like runways, and it's because it used to be an Air Force base up until 1952. 17 years later, just off of I-20, Bill France Sr. would build the longest racetrack in NASCAR history for quite some time. And right now, Colt Snyder is taking that track by the horns. There's the 2-2 of Josh Arnold. He's sitting third right now, 7 seconds off the top 2. But we'll see what this last lap looks like. Arnold chasing down Enrique Quiñones this last time through on lap 32. Quiñones showing he's 2 seconds quicker than Josh Arnold in that 22, and here's the reason why. These cars can't get in a single file draft, and they're not going to be able to run them down quick enough. 8.4 seconds now the gap from second place down to third. Kyle Taub says, I want to be the leader in this second group, but now here comes points leader Nate Lehman with fresh tires and a head full of steam, determined to catch the top 2. Josh Arnold and Kyle Taub have been left out to dry, and Chris Murphy will be third in this second pack line. The 1-6 of Taub sneaks in behind the 2-1. Jeff Lednam in 7th position, now pushing Kyle Taub. 34 laps in, 1 pit stop complete. Nate Lehman leads Zach Meredith 3-4 respectively. Here comes John Osborne around the outside with a big head full of steam. Could he possibly overtake the points leader on the outside with no draft help? Will he side draft down the back straight? Look at the 8-1 of John Osborne single-handedly on the outside, getting to second place. What a move by John Osborne. Unbelievably done. Let's have one more look. Out of turn number 4, watch the move he's going to get here. John Osborne in the 8-1, side drafting off the 5. He's going to side draft off the 44. Just where is he getting this immense speed? And of course, he would go to get around Nate Lehman. And there is the 8-1 of John Osborne now sitting in third. And it looks like these drivers may be using the draft to their advantage, where they're bringing a car from the back to the front. It would take quite a bit of coordination. Not sure if they could pull that off at 180 plus miles per hour. Telemetry showing us John Osborne hitting 180 out of turn number 4. We'll see what he does into this first corner, but John Osborne now going to the outside and seemingly letting the rest of the field go around him. So possibly some drafting gamesmanship afoot here. Looking at Nate Lehman in the 1-4, he's going to push 179 miles an hour into turn number 1. The gap to second place, Enrique Quiñones, 12.4 seconds. And these two at the front, Colt Snyder and Q-Dogs, as he was known on the Xbox side, these two with a drafting game of their own. Look at this, just swapping the draft in the corner. Here's going to come a bump in the straight. Absolute genius move here. Looking at Quiñones, he's doing 180. Snyder behind him, 182, 3. And Quiñones into turn number 1, 183 miles per hour, 4 miles an hour quicker than Zach Meredith, who's now in third. Look at Meredith, who's going to swap into the third position. Zach Meredith doing 175 5 miles an hour. Meredith, 8 miles an hour slower than race leader Enrique Quiñones. And into turn 3, there's Quiñones. 185 you saw for just a moment, then down to 184. Have a look at Zach Meredith now, 175. Behind him, Nate Lehman, who's got the draft. Jeff Lednam, 182. And not enough to pass the leaders there. And there it is, the leapfrog strategy. White Walker, 86. My man K Swatch, what's going on, Kurt? Send my love to the family. He's calling it now. The leapfrog strategy will never help them catch the leaders. That's what the leaders are doing now. Enrique Quiñones and Colt Snyder. Look at the exit speed out of turn number 2. 181 for the 9 car. Colt Snyder doing 182 at the draft there. Look at that, 183, 184. Quiñones, 184. Colt Snyder just matching him with 183 miles an hour. Now look for Jeff Lednam in third, 181. Here comes Zach Meredith shoving along. Now they figured it out where the 2-car tandem is superior to the leapfrog strategy that they were trying. White Walker 86 says, look at the time gap. Half a second gained by the leaders a lap, and it shows 15.67 seconds is the difference between the lead pack and third place Jeff Lednam. Bottom right of your screen, 178 miles an hour across that line. Behind him, Zach Meredith doing 180, 181. Just not quick enough as these two looking at 183, 184 into the corner, and the 2-car tandem may be the strategy for third place on back. It'll be 50 laps to go, this time by 9:24.37. And right now it looks like the race is strictly for third place. Zach Meredith, 179 miles an hour into the corner, just not good enough. Colt Snyder in second, 184 into turn number 1. With that draft, Zach Meredith, he's got the draft of Jeff Lednam in the 3-7. 177, here comes Nate Lehman. Nate Lehman, he's got some urge about himself, but just not quick enough. White Walker 86. The 8 or 10 car pack needs to get nose to tail, being spread out and passing each other. They will just continue to fall off. These two successfully bump drafting down the straight. That's Enrique Quiñones and Colt Snyder, teammates, if you will, drafting with each other diligently. Here comes the bump draft from the 2-4. You can hear and see the difference for yourself. 42 laps now underway. White Walker 86 letting us know the leaders gained another 2 seconds in 3 laps. 20 seconds now the gap between these top two. Zach Meredith sitting in third, and they've had enough. Here comes the 7-1 of Mike Campbell. He's now drafting to the outside. If he's going to be in this pack, he wants to be at the front of it. Help from Jarrett Manning in the number 7 Duke Chevrolet. The 3-7 of Jeff Lednam. He wants to play too. Lednam on the outside, but will he sneak in and be able to draft to the front? He does so courtesy of the mercy of Zach Meredith. He backed off, let a hole in, so the 3-7 could make his way in front of the 1-7, and now you're going to see these cars moving at quick pace Papa Bear Campbell in the 7-1. Tigertown Trucking Ford has help from Jarrett Manning. Jeff Lednam has help from Zach Meredith. Points leader, Nate Lehman. His second place rival just behind him, Chris Murphy, has no other choice but to draft with the points leader and hope that they can catch up to the top two soon, because a 22-second gap is looming between the top two and the rest. There's this second pack here. Look at that. There's Colt Snyder and Enrique Quiñones. The 888 of Mike Allen on the inside. Now going one lap down, the High Rock Vodka Chevrolet watches the 9 and the 2-4 sail by. And this is what a 22, almost 23-second gap looks like. Campbell in the 7-1, Manning in the 7, Lednam in the 3-7, getting a push from Meredith in the 1-7, but then a gap here as Nate Lehman does not have support from Chris Murphy in the 2-1. Kyle Taub looking to get to the inside. He sees a bit of daylight on the 2-1. There goes Murphy to the outside, opening the window for the 1-6 of Taub. Jeff Lednam goes high, and that's what invited Chris Murphy to go to the high side as well. The 7-1 of Campbell still drafting with the 7 of Manning. The 3-7 backing up to welcome the front bumper of car 2-1. Chris Murphy. They'll form the top line or almost make it 3 wide. Murphy tries to slide back into that low lane. Almost doesn't make it through, but now the 3-7 of Jeff Lednam now hung out to dry. 7-1, 7-17 breaking away in a 3-car tandem, and points leader Nate Lehman being left in the Alabama dust. White Walker 86 says it's almost a second a lap the leaders are gaining. Insane. Can't believe the 2 cars are able to pull on 10 cars. 25 seconds. Now the gap as Mike Campbell furiously protects the inside with the 7 of Jarrett Manning now looking topside. Zach Meredith behind him trying to urge along, and Nate Lehman presses the gas pedal a bit further into the floorboard. He catches up to the back of the 1-7, and they've got to do something. We're now on the back 9. We're past the halfway mark. Enrique Quiñones and Colt Snyder, as Kurt Swatsworth says in the chat, almost gaining a second a lap. And it looks like the 8-8 of Mike Allen might tag along as well, and that might just make them even quicker. There's Campbell in the 7-1. Over the last 5 laps to Colt Snyder in second. There it is over the last 5 laps. Colt Snyder quicker by no less than 4/10. And over the last 4 laps, second place Colt Snyder no slower. Well, how do you put this? He's been 1 second at minimum 1 second faster over the last 4 laps. And again, to quote Kurt Swatsworth in the chat, insane numbers that the top 2 are putting up. But all it takes is one moment to change absolutely everything. Each of these drivers pitting between laps 28 and 29. These 2 specifically went 28 laps on 1 tank of fuel, so quick math tells you they'll need to come in approximately 9 laps from now to top off. But will it be enough, assuming that these 2 drivers stretch it to lap 58? They'll still need to go another 30 laps from there just to make the end of this race. It could be a 3-stop race if it goes green, but how much fuel have these drivers saved? And will it be enough to make it a 2-stop race? Kurt in the chat says, debris in turn 2, LMAO. If only. If only something like that occurred to get these drivers back together. But anything at all is possible. You know what? Even debris in turn 2 might just be possible. But Papa Bear Campbell sits in third right now, and it's about time Papa Bear gets himself a good run. The 7-1 Tigertown Ford being supported by Jarrett Manning in the 7. Zach Meredith in the Goodwrench Chevrolet peaks 2 tires below that yellow line, which is in effect. And Kurt now listing all of the possible reasons we might see a yellow, including Squirrel on the backstretch. Someone needs to reach out to iRacing and say, we need a mod where we can have a yellow because there's squirrels on the racetrack. How about it? Drunk fan stole the pace car. You know, that one's actually more believable. We've seen some inebriated NASCAR fans do some crazy things. I think I remember one race at Pocono, a fan might have run across the racetrack. I remember several years ago, the fan at Richmond, I think he climbed the turn 4 fence, and there's Kurt confirming it for me. It's happened before. Yeah, so it's, there's lots of reasons. I mean, even in Formula One, I think one year at the Korean Grand Prix, they threw the green flag. They turned the green lights on, and there was still a medical car out on the racing surface. So it's anything's possible. iRacing, give us that anything's possible mod. Enrique Quiñones still leading with Colt Snyder shifting left and right behind him, possibly just trying to find the fastest line possible as these two put up video game numbers. In every sense of the word, 29 seconds now the gap. 3/4 of a lap almost between second and third place. And now it's just a ride around, hoping that a mistake occurs. Kurt in the chat says, fans stole the pace car at Talladega and ran multiple laps before the cops blocked the front straight. Oh, man. Kurt, tell me, is this recent enough where there's going to be a video of this? Because I've got to see this. He also says, fan at Watkins Glen jumped the fence, ran up to Matt Kenseth's car, and reached in the window with a hat and pen asking for an autograph under the red flag. Yeah, I vaguely remember that, and I think I also vaguely remember hearing that the party at Watkins Glen is one of the best, so that possibly could be a reason why. 30 seconds. You heard me right. 30 seconds. The gap between second and third with pit stops just a few laps away. Everybody keeping their cool for the most part and just staying in one orderly single file line. John Osborne in the 15th position behind Jeff Lednam in the 3-7. Chris Murphy comes into this race second in the points by quite a big margin. 41 points. The difference between first and second right now. Points leader Nate Lehman sitting just in front of the bumper of Chris Murphy, and there's nothing he can do. It's a race to the next pit stop, but Murph just needs to keep his cool. Just over 35 laps remain in this 12th round of Turn Down for What? Xfinity Racing. Oh, and I think Kurt tried posting a link for the YouTube video for that fan stealing the pace car. Let me see if I can help you out here with that, Kurt. Well, I'll try to make you a mod there on the Twitch chat. Didn't necessarily work. But back to business, and it's straight and narrow business for these drivers here. Kurt says he sent me the link on Discord. I genuinely can't wait to see this. Jarrett Manning, he's up 11 places from where he started. Shout out to the driver of the Duke Chevrolet. He's our hardest charger thus far. Big blank from Papa Bear Campbell in the 7-1, and hopefully the internet connection holds strong for that Tiger Town Ford. Zach Meredith rocking out that Dale Earnhardt paint scheme in the 5th position. He's gained 7 places from where he started. And then Kyle Taub in the Davey Allison paint scheme, right where he started in the 6th position. The Floridian with that reflective 1.6 KT Designs Ford sits ahead of Mississippi's Josh Arnold in 7th. Byron Jones, he's made up a few places from the back of the field. Jones originally started in the 8th position, and you can see some blinks from the double 4. Hopefully no internet connection issues for him. Adam Taylor, respectfully and wisely keeping his distance. He's got Sugar Hands Franks behind him, rounding out the top 10. Points leader Nate Lehman just chilling in the 11th position, while the top two are ahead by 35 seconds. This is going to be quite the interesting pit stop cycle, because all it takes is one minor mistake from either of these two drivers, a little bit of miscoordination, and all of this 33-second lead goes out the window now. 55 laps underway of the scheduled 89 in this 12th round of racing, and all eager eyes on the 9 and the 24. White Walker 86 says leaders might lap them if it keeps on going green, and they genuinely would. They're more than 3/4 of a lap ahead of the rest of this field right now, looking at the head of this second pack. From the eye in the sky, there's Mike Campbell in third. There's Colt Snyder in second. Entering turn number 3, entering turn 4 now. Mike Campbell now just crossing the start-finish line in third. Quite the achievement from the 9 and the 24 of Quiñones and Snyder. And there they come down pit road. They're going to break that 35-second gap, get it woed down to 55 miles an hour. Snyder in. Quiñones in. And they have that enormous cushion back to Papa Bear Campbell in that 7-1. He's sitting in third. White Walker 86 says fuel only. We'll see what kind of strategy these two employ. There's the 71 at a turn number 4, the 2-4 and the 9. Getting tires and fuel on their race cars. Here comes Zach Meredith in the 1-7. He elects to stay out, while Papa Bear Campbell, Mike Allen's also on his way out. There's Mike Campbell coming in with no draft help whatsoever. This is going to be crippling for the North Carolinian. Nobody at all coming down with Papa Bear Campbell for tires or fuel. White Walker 86 says, I wouldn't put tires on the whole race if it was me. Now we'll see where Campbell goes with this one. Will it just be a splash and dash for car 71? Looks like he's just going fuel only, 13 seconds, and he's away. Zach Meredith in the 1-7. He's ahead of Kyle Taub in the 1-6. Josh Arnold sitting in third. This many cars coming down pit road could pose a problem if they get the timing wrong, but everybody elects to stay out. Now what kind of game are these drivers playing? Quickly approaching 30 laps to go. There's Colt Snyder in 13th, Enrique Quiñones in 14th. They'll have to go just over 31 laps to go the distance. Saying here, Enrique Quiñones, timing and scoring shows Enrique Quiñones did not come down. Or that's Colt Snyder, showing Colt Snyder didn't come down pit road on lap 55, showing his last pit stop on lap 28. This is going to be wildly interesting to see what happens between the 24 and the 9. White Walker saying Q and Cole gaining on them again, and how. Both of these drivers still on the lead lap. There's Jarrett Manning in 12th. He's only 3.3 seconds ahead of Colt Snyder, quickly gaining with help of Enrique Quiñones. But did Colt Snyder come down pit road? Did he actually do anything to the car at all? Kurt in the chat says they came out 8 seconds behind, gained 3 seconds already. White Walker 86 says Cole pitted. We saw Colt Snyder come down pit road. That is no question whatsoever. Timing and scoring showing his last pit stop on lap 28. So possibly just an error on our end. Thank you, Kurt, for that reassurance. No funny business here. But there's the gap to Jarrett Manning, who's coming down pit road. There's the 2-4 of Colt Snyder, who will sail on by with Quiñones urgently pushing him along. And John Osborne just 1.3 seconds ahead. But look at this. Osborne sailing into that first corner at 170, 166 there. Here comes the 2-4 at 186. And watch this. Kyle Taub in the 1-6 getting ahead of these two. Will they go to the third lane? Yes, they will, successfully splitting the 1-6 into turn number 3. White Walker 86 saying they caught the pack and those guys have to pit still. We could be facing a situation with 2 cars on the lead lap if they play these cards right. The 2-4 of Colt Snyder side drafting off of Zach Meredith. There's Josh Arnold in the 2-2. He's going to hang to the back of these drivers here and says, see you, Zach. Chevy, Ford, Colt Snyder, Enrique Quiñones, Josh Arnold, your top 3. And again, to quote Kurt Swatsworth in the chat, they caught the pack already. Everybody from 3rd all the way back down to 15th. Well, not 15th. Jarrett Manning came down pit road. So did Papa Bear Campbell. But everyone from 3rd to 13th must come down pit road one more time. Colt Snyder and Enrique Quiñones do not. And of course, the only thing that can save them now is a caution. Unbelievably fortunate cards handed to the 2-4 and the 9, making the best of that pit strategy. Here comes 3rd place on back, Zach Meredith and company coming down pit road. As a matter of fact, it's only Zach Meredith and Adam Taylor coming down pit road, joined by John Osborne. 3rd place is Josh Arnold. Byron Jones in 4th. He wisely sticks to the back end. And while the 2-2 and the 1-4 must come down pit road, they might have a chance to form a tandem of their own. Chris Murphy sitting in 5th. He wants to tag along with the 4-4, and Sugar Hands Franks in the 6 car also wants to come along too. White Walker 86 has probably one more stop from the 9 and the 24. The rest may have to pit twice. He says you can't go that many laps on Dega on 60% fuel. You certainly can't. And here comes the rest of the cavalry flying their way down pit road. 55 miles an hour for Murphy, Byron Jones, Arnold, and company. Everybody coming down for tires and for fuel. While Colt Snyder and Enrique Quiñones continue to just peel through this field. But again, they'll have to go 34 laps on 1 tank of fuel if they want to go the distance. Meanwhile, Josh Arnold, Elridge George, Chris Murphy, Byron Jones, everybody who's come down pit road and will now come out with fresh tires and fuel, they can go all the way to the end. White Walker 86 says they all have to do fuel only. It's the only way they can make it. They might have just done right sides or left sides, not sure. They had a pit stop time of 12 seconds, so it certainly wasn't 4 tires, but maybe just enough gas to get them to the end of this race. Colt Snyder leads lap 62, and he will lead the most laps today. Enrique Quiñones behind him in that 9 car. This tandem has just put on a masterclass today. Snyder comes into this race 7th in the di9 Designs point standings, only 12 points behind Corey Blevins, who's out of this race in the 17th position. Not going to be a good day for Corey Blevins. And then Josh Arnold, who's just 13 points ahead, currently being scored in the 12th position. It's going to be a great points day for Snyder for sure. But how about Quiñones, who's sitting in 9th? He's only 1 marker behind Jeff Lednum and his teammate there, Colt Snyder, 14 markers ahead of him. 16, pardon me. Can't do math. 27 laps to go, if my math is right, which it never is. Colt Snyder leads Enrique Quiñones by 1/10 of a second. Then it's a 44-second gap back to Chris Murphy. That's what that looks like right there. There's 3rd place, Chris Murphy. Came down on lap 61. He'll have enough fuel to go the distance. There's Enrique Quiñones in 2nd place. The leaders on a course to lap this other pack here. Kurt in the chat saying they can see the other pack. You bet they can, and they are coming in a hurry. Chris Murphy putting in a last lap of 53.03 seconds. Enrique Quiñones in 2nd, crosses the line. He puts up a lap. 52.52. He's quicker than that second pack by half a second. But again, they've got to go about 6 laps longer than Chris Murphy and company. Do they have the mileage to go that sort of distance? It will be 24 laps to go this time by. There's third, Chris Murphy. Josh Franks behind him in the 4th position, and Nate Lehman, the points leader, rounding out the top 5, with Kyle Taub behind him in 6th. Bahamian Elridge George sits 7th right now with Jeff Lednam behind him. Josh Arnold and Zach Meredith, they both ran their fastest laps of the race last time around. Fresh tires and fuel, the strategy for them. White Walker says he thinks the fuel load is 20 to 24 laps. They may be able to click in SDK to check that fuel. Their first stint, Enrique Quiñones was able to stretch it to 28 laps. No driver went further than 30 laps on one set of fuel. Colt Snyder ahead of Quiñones, not by a big margin, but it's going to be quite something to see these two overtake the rest of this pack. Kurt asking us to show the fuel strategy. We don't have the fuel strategy overlay for these drivers, but we did see them go up to 30 laps on that first stint. Possibly the draft helping out with that, and we'll see where these drivers stretch this mileage here. Will they go the distance? Will they have to pit with just 5 laps remaining? And if they do, it will just be a splash and dash, while third place, Chris Murphy, now giving way to points leader Nate Lehman on the inside line. Here comes Kyle Taub now to the inside of Nate Lehman. He wants a piece of third as well. Coming to 23 laps to go for these drivers, while Colt Snyder and Enrique Quiñones come to 22. Elridge George sneaks into the top 5 once again. He started third in this race. He's back up to 4th behind Florida's Kyle Taub. And Maryland's Jeff Lednam currently rounds out the top 5. He's our hardest charger so far. He's gained 9 places since the green flag flew. Taylor using the draft to his advantage, getting up into the 8th position on the outside of points leader Nate Lehman. Kurt in the chat saying the leaders are catching them. They're about 3 to 4 seconds away from the back end of this secondary pack. There's third place Kyle Taub. There's second place Enrique Quiñones behind the 2-4 of Colt Snyder. 47 seconds. The gap between the top 2 and the rest of the field. And if these top 2 do need to come in, it will be with approximately 5 laps to go in this race. If they do plan on a third pit stop, they will need to get around Kyle Taub and company. It's not a guaranteed victory yet. Still, a lot of timing to work out. And 20 laps to decide it. Byron Jones on the outside of John Osborne in the 81. The Arizona driver now looking to make some positions around the outside of Josh Franks. Here's the move for 10th. Jones doing it single-handedly, using the power of the side draft. He sees the ominous silhouette of the leaders creep into his mirror, and he knows his time is limited. He can't stick around in the back anymore. Now trying to side draft around points leader Nate Lehman, currently being scored in the 10th position. His closest points rival, Chris Murphy, has made it up to 6th. coming to 20 laps to go for Murph. Chris White Walker 86 saying the leaders might be saving. Time is going down for the pack. Let's take a look over the last 5 laps. Kyle Taub has been quicker than Enrique Quiñones for the last 2, and now we'll see. So for the last 4 laps, Quiñones 1 second quicker, then they backed off. Now, that last lap, Enrique Quiñones almost 4/10 slower than Kyle Taub is saving now the name of the game for the top 2. They do have 46 seconds of gap between themselves and this secondary pack. That last time around, Quiñones with a 52.40. This time around, Kyle Taub. The leaders are in. Here comes Colt Snyder and Enrique Quiñones. They will not make it to the end, and they know they can't make it. They're coming in for fuel. It has to be a fuel-only stop, and they give up that 45-second advantage over Kyle Taub and the rest. The 9, the 2-4, the 7-1 come to a halt. Tires going up on the 9. Left side tires going up on the 9. The 2-4 is down. The 9 is down. They get a move on. There's Kyle Taub in the 1-6. Now, they've left pit lane. Taub is leaving turn 4. Will the 2-4 and the 9 get up to speed quick enough? Taub, does he have enough fuel to go the distance? He leads this secondary pack, looking to catch up to the 2-4 and the 9. Here is the race deciding moment, barring any caution flags. Quiñones in the 9, now behind Snyder, 160, accelerating now down the back straight. Race leader Kyle Taub. Up to full song, up to 184 miles an hour into the first turn with a 5-second gap on Kyle Taub. The 1-6 car has support from Elrich George. Kurt Swatz in the chat says, watch for the 22 to be saving. He's mixed in the pack. The only driver I've seen win a fuel mileage race at Talladega. Ran out of fuel coming out of turn number 4 and coasted to win with a 40-second lead. 16 laps to go this time by. Colt Snyder and Enrique Quiñones have a 5-second gap. It's now stabilized and settled at 5 seconds. Keep your eyes on the left-hand side of your screen. That tower will tell you everything you need to know. 5 seconds the gap with 16 laps remaining. Kyle Taub sees... Well, that was Mike Campbell. Who's that in the distance there? That is the 7 of Jarrett Manning, who's running in 14th. The first car, 1 lap down. They're going to get a slight boost from that. 4.7 seconds the gap, and third is catching second. It'll be 15 to go next time by, but will they catch them quick enough? Quick math tells you they're going to need to make up no less than 0.3 per lap to get up to them by the end of this race. Last time around, Kyle Taub quicker by 0.6 of a second. Colt Snyder and Enrique Quiñones. Last time around, they put up a 52.39 second lap, I should say. This time around, Kyle Taub crosses the line, and he's quicker for the 5th consecutive lap on Enrique Quiñones. White Walker says they're gaining on the leaders. Let's see by how much. Half a second that last time around, and that's certainly more than enough to catch them up before the end of this race. Patience. Now what needs to be practiced from this secondary gap is patience. Taub leading. He's got control of it all with great support from Elridge George in the 40. Jeff Lednam in the 3-7. He wants to catch the top two as well. Snyder and Quiñones see these drivers coming along, but now they've got all the fuel to go every lap they need to the end, and possibly, just maybe, even more if overtime is required. Lucky number 13 laps to go next time by. Colt Snyder and Enrique Quiñones 1-2. That last time around, Kyle Taub just barely quicker than Enrique Quiñones. Not even 6/100ths of a second. Has the top two put their foot down and hit their stride. We'll see this next time around when the leaders collect the line for lucky 13 to go. Last time through, Quiñones quicker than Taub by 1/10 of a second. Jeff Lednam, he wants to go to the high side and he wants to play too. He wants that bronze medal position. It's a race for third if these drivers don't get back in line, and they're just fine with that. The 3-7. Jeff Lednam at 183 miles an hour on the outside with support from Chris Murphy in the 2-1. Just can't get enough momentum. Taub holds on to third. A dozen laps remain. Elridge George, Josh Arnold in the 2-2, tucked in on that low line. Adam Taylor, points leader Nate Lehman, and then the 1-7 of Zach Meredith, all on the inside. It's the three-car trifecta of Jeff Lednam, Chris Murphy, and Byron Jones top side, looking to get into the top three. Kurt saying, my boys on the KS Gaming team, 37 and 21, talking about Jeff Lednam and Chris Murphy. Lednam, he's gained 10 places from where he started so far. Now neck and neck with the 1-6 of Taub, but can he make it stick with the side draft? Taub, he's got that ever-loving support from the 40 of Elridge George, just giving him the bump draft he needs. In through that tri-oval, 16, 40, 2-2, running third, fourth, and fifth across the line. It'll be 1-0 to go next time by. 2.7 seconds the gap. This secondary pack still catching the top two. It's not long now. There's the 2-4 and the 9 tandem. There's the 16. They can see them in the distance. White Walker 86 agrees. He says they have closed. And they continue to close inside 2.5 seconds, coming to 10 laps to go, and this one is far from over. Just when you thought they had all their chickens counted, there wasn't enough fuel for the 2-4 and the 9, and now they've got to face this furious pack chasing them down. 10 laps to go at Talladega. Snyder, Quiñones, top two. Kyle Taub sitting in third. Points leader, Nate Lehman, running in 12th. In the middle of this pack, right here. Will Lehman make a move, or will he just look to preserve his 41-point gap with 4 races remaining? Snyder, up ahead by 0.8. They've been caught. Do they defend? 9 at the line. Arnold in the 2-2 behind the 1-4 of George, looking to the high side. Here comes Taub, looking to go to the inside. Cars furiously scything through the tri-oval. 4 wide for second place across the line. 2-4 of Colt Snyder, still to the inside. Aggressive moves, no patience with 9 to go. Still 4 wide through the corner. Do they survive? No. There's the crash. Quiñones with contact on the 40. No cars going around. We're still green. Still green. The 2-4 of Colt Snyder leading down the back straight. Enrique Quiñones shoved all the way to the high side. The 1-6 of Kyle Taub forcing his way up the inside line on the 2-4 and now fighting for the lead. There's the 4-4 of Byron Jones, loose. He's down, almost in this one, and Jones now with no draft partners. 22 on the high side with help from Quiñones. There goes Kyle Taub looking for the lead, and he'll have to be a bit more patient than that. Here comes Josh Arnold on the high side around the 6, 16 and the 2-4. The 9 of Enrique Quiñones still using that marvelous engine to push Josh Arnold. Big block from Colt Snyder, a dangerous move ahead of the 22. But everybody still making it through. Quick look at Kyle Taub making his way up that inside line right before. Watch this brave move here. Quick look. Quiñones opened the door. Taub, fake tie, cut right to the inside. Everybody making it through. Josh Arnold now on the inside line. He's got Kyle Taub behind him in the 1-6. The 2-4 and the 9 hook back up on the high side. Look at Josh Arnold making that move for the lead. 6 to go next time. Here come the 2-4 and the 9 on the high side. Watch Arnold make his move for the lead. Jarrett Manning just went purple. There you saw Josh Arnold dive to the inside of the 2-4. Back to live pictures. It's a drag race for the lead into 3. Jarrett Manning in 14th, 1 lap down. 50.50 seconds, fastest lap of the day. John Osborne in the 8-1 to the outside of Jarrett Manning in the 7. The Duke Chevrolet ahead of that UNC Ford. He's going to go down to the inside and draft with the 3-7 of Jeff Lednum. 6 laps to go. McGee, Mississippi's Josh Arnold with the Auburn Eagles on the hood of his car, trying to defend from Colt Snyder, looking for his second win in that famous Jeff Gordon paint scheme. Kyle Taub, he's had the aggressive moves to get him up to the front tonight, but can he make the right moves to win this race? Jeff Lednum now offering support, and it's a 4 Ford train on the left side, coming to 5 laps to go. Thursday Night Thunder's COT Tommy says, crazy, close racing, and how about it coming to 5 laps to go? It's still anybody's race. Five fingers in the air from the flag stand. 2-2 and 2-4 drag racing. Enough said in the chat. Says the 9 is trash. Talking about Enrique Quiñones. COT Tommy says that 2-4 is amazing. You're telling me. Great Jeff Gordon paint scheme, and we'll see if he can take it to victory lane, or will it be Kyle Taub in the Alabama gang paint scheme to bring his classic liveried race car to victory lane. The 4-4 of Byron Jones on the outside. He's had internet connection issues all night long. There's points leader Nate Lehman sitting in 9th. Unless a yellow comes out, his lead is in tatters. Colt Snyder in the 2-4. He's got the 1-6 of Kyle Taub behind him. Josh Arnold in the 2-2. Will he make a move? Will he wait until the last lap? 3 wide for the lead now. Quiñones backs out. It's the 6 of Josh Franks in the middle lane, getting help from 13th place, Jarrett Manning. Quiñones on the very top lane. No help. Almost contact for Manning, who gets loose in 2, but everybody makes it through okay. Unbelievable save from Manning in the 7 car. He's sitting 13th. Perhaps, just perhaps, the lap down car will have an effect on how this race is played out. Josh Arnold on the inside line has Kyle Taub behind him, coming to 3 laps to go. Kurt in the chat confirming the call he made earlier, saying I told you to watch out for that 22. He's leading, but can he hold on? Colt Snyder side drafting on the outside, used to having the 9 pushing him all day long, but now he's got the 6 being pushed by the 9. Fords up the inside, all Chevrolets on the outside. 5 Fords in one single row, challenging 3 Chevrolets on the top side with 2.5 laps remaining in round 12. What does that look like? Have a seat. White flag, next time by. Cindy Thompson in the chat, cheering for Josh Arnold. There goes the 2-4, big block into 3. Everybody clenches, everybody holds their breaths. 3 wide for the lead, coming to the white flag. Josh Arnold on the inside, carrying the pride of McGee, Mississippi to the white flag. Kyle Taub behind him in the 1-6. 3 wide for third. One more time around. Josh Arnold looking to get his win this season, comes into this race 5th in the points. White Walker 86 says, Arnold's mama, my mistake. Cindy Thompson cheering on Josh Arnold, who's got 3/4 of a lap to the end. Colt Snyder's got a big push from Quiñones in the 9. Side drafting taking place down this back straight. Snyder muscling his way down the back straight with Josh Arnold trying to defend up the inside line. Big push from Kyle Taub in the 1-6. Snyder comes down to side draft on the 22. Quiñones in the 9, moving left and right, trying to find some way to the front. Burnt Rubber Media rating on the white flag lap. There goes Arnold. Has he lost it? Snyder to the outside, and they're wrecking across the line. Crashing, smoke flying behind the 2-4 of Colt Snyder, who wins at Talladega. Congratulations from Philip the Cat as well. Byron Jones in the 2nd position. Kyle Taub gets the finish in 3rd. Josh Arnold coming across the line in 4th. Josh Franks in 5th. Nate Lehman 6th. He took that white flag in 9th. His points lead salvaged. Chris Murphy in 7th. John Osborne in 8th. Jeff Lednam on his lid in 9th. Bahamian Elrich George. Now he'll cross the line in 10th. Unbelievably finished. COT Tommy says, beautiful ride. And there's your race winner, Colt Snyder in the number 24 Pepsi $1 billion Chevrolet with a $1 billion performance, leading the most laps tonight, getting a congratulation bump from points leader Nate Lehman. Cindy Thompson saying, great run for Josh. He finished 4th. We're going to take one look at that. We're going to a few looks, actually, coming off that 4th corner while we gather our top 3 for podium interviews. But how about Pennsylvania's Colt Snyder getting his 2nd win of the season? COT Tommy says, the boss with the top 10, talking about Bahamian Elrich George from Nassau in the Bahamas, coming home with that 10th place finish. And a well-deserved smoke show from the driver of the 2-4, Colt Snyder, getting the victory at Talladega. And the 17 of Zach Meredith will offer his congratulations. Kurt in the chat saying 24 might be putting a stamp on being a Superspeedway driver. That's multiple Superspeedway wins, and those two will do their thing. So let's go to this last lap here. That's Jeff Lednam crashing. Let's see if we can get an earlier shot of this. Josh Franks looks like the catalyst behind that, getting into the 9 of Enrique Quiñones. Let's have another very slow look here. Now, Josh Arnold, let's back it up. Josh Arnold looks like he just got a touch. He did. Josh Arnold getting pushed from Kyle Taub in the corner out of turn number 4. Have a very close look at the 1-6. You're going to see that bumper make contact with the 2-2 out of this 4th corner. There's the 1-6 going high out of turn number 4 on the 22 of Josh Arnold. Again, this is coming to the checkered flag, so there's the contact from the 2-2. Now, keep your eye on the 6 of Josh Franks. He's going to see daylight to the inside of Quiñones, and now they're going to make contact. There's the contact from the 9. Here's Quiñones going for a ride. And the 2-4 of Colt Snyder will come across the line in first. Byron Jones in second. Kyle Taub in the 3rd position. So those two will celebrate, and we're going to have podium interviews in just a moment. On the podium now with our top 3, starting with the driver of the 1-6, Davey Allison, liveried Ford. Kyle Taub getting a bronze medal tonight at Talladega. Did you think that was in the stars at all, or were you just hoping for a lucky run?
Plate tracks have started to become great places for me for finishes, and top 5 was the aim. Top 3 would have been great, and a win would have been stupendous. But no, I got the top 3 and happy.
A bronze medal means it's going to put you in the top 10 in points. We'll see you in 7 days' time from Martinsville. Congratulations on 3rd, Kyle.
Thank you, Rick.
Our 2nd place finisher, one Byron Jones in the number 44 Lightning McQueen inspired Ford. Byron, great run for you. You end up with a silver medal tonight, just hanging on when you did your 15th in points headed into Martinsville.
Yeah, it felt great. Obviously, our Patriot Esports Ford Mustang did excellent tonight throughout the entire race. At the end, I was hoping for a little bit of a different outcome, but man, Cole ran away with it. Great job for him. Hopefully next week, Martinsville, I feel very, very good about that track.
We'll see you at the Paperclip 7 days from now. Congratulations on 2nd.
Thank you, Rick.
Our race-winning interview brought to you by the good folks over at di9 Designs, the custom graphics design page on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at di9 Designs. They post graphics on all platforms multiple times a week and take requests on logos, wallpapers, iRacing schemes, and more. Follow and DM them for more details. They are not affiliated with Hendrick Motorsports or Chase Elliott. Be sure to use code di9 Designs for free shipping on your diecast and merch orders over $20 on CircleBDiecast.com. And now the winner, driver of that 2-4 Pepsi billion-dollar Chevrolet, one Colt Snyder with your 2nd win of the season. Cole, you elevate yourself into 4th in the point standings with 4 races remaining.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I don't even know what to say about that race. That was the most fun I ever had racing in a restrictor plate, just because me and my teammate Enrique just out there leading by 30 to 40 seconds at a time. Not We had no strategy. We were just racing to have fun. I know the lap count, it came down to fuel and everyone had to save, so everyone's going pretty slow. And me and him just checked out and just pit and pit and pit and just somehow kept the lead when the pack got us, and just through teamwork, we made it happen.
Here you are in victory lane. You've got your second win of the season. 7 days from now, we're going from the longest to the shortest. The paperclip at Martinsville. Will we see you in victory lane for a third time?
Hope so. It's a fun track for me. I usually run pretty well at short tracks. I'll get a good Jeff Gordon paint scheme out there. You told me not to let you down in this paint scheme, and I hope I didn't.
I don't think you could do any better than a win at Talladega in this paint scheme, man. You got the job done. Congratulations on the win, Cole. We'll see you in a week.
Thank you for everything. Shout out Enrique, Josh Arnold, Nathan Lehman, the whole CDR squad. Shout out to all those boys.
Josh Franks in the chat saying he gave his best. He got a top 5 out of it as well. Fans at home, the 12th chapter of the di9 Designs Turned Down for What Xfinity Series is now in the books. And of course, we've been mentioning it like crazy. A week from now, we go to Martinsville for 169 laps of fun. That's going to be quite some amazing racing, so be sure to tune in for that. And then Thursday night, the ARCA cars in their semi-final. It's Thursday Night Thunder at Phoenix. Thursday night, 8:40 p.m. right here on Rick James TV. So until that next race, everybody, please stay safe. Do take care of each other, and we will see you all around the